Okay guys, as promised, here's the second part of the review of the Suunto D5. Suunto D5, it's a good computer, it is. It tells you how deep you are, for how long you can stay and things like that. So it's a good computer. I want to make sure you understand that. Now, it's $1,000 computer also. Here in Australia it's $1,000. So it has to be more than just a good computer, because you can get a pretty good computer for $300. You can get the Suunto D4 second hand for $300-400. But this one is $1,000. So is it good enough to justify that $1,000? So if the money is not a problem for you, then sure, go get it. It's great. You will love it. Now, when you take into account that it costs $1,000, then you start to think about what else is this computer offering you? Why is this computer so special? So one of the things is, of course, the color display. Color display is good because the way it works, it tells you all the information in green when everything's good. If you are ascending perhaps too fast, then it turns into yellow, and then if you go like really fast, it turns into red. So you can just at a glance have a look and see if you are doing everything right or not, just based on the color. So that's great. Now the screen, right, it's an LCD. I don't know what kind of technology it is, but it's not an OLED display, so it's kind of dark. It is, but you can see it. So as soon as you go in the water, underwater, it detects that and turns on the light automatically, so that's good. You can always see it underwater. That's good. I've done a couple of night dives, also morning dives during the day, when it's sunny, when it's cloudy. I've done a few dives and you can always see the display underwater. But when you're outside of the water, in the surface, on a sunny day, it's quite dim. So it's not as bright as you might expect, but you can still see it. I mean, it's a good computer. So what else? It has Bluetooth, right? So it pairs with your phone and it tells you can synchronize the dives and all that kind of stuff. That's neat. That's cool. And then what else? What else does it do? It tells you your safety stops. Yes, it does the 5 meters safety stop, and it also does a deep safety stop. You can configure if you want to do that or not. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Now the battery. That's another question that someone asked me. It's you can recharge the computer, which is good. That means that you don't have to take it to the service to change the battery. So that's good. You can charge it in like 1 hour, so it's pretty fast. And how long does it last? Well, you have a couple of options here. So if you're just using your computer as a regular watch, you can turn off all the features, just put it in normal mode, and that will last probably a week, something around a week, like 6-7 days. Depends also on the brightness of the screen. But then if you put it into free dive mode, or if you put it into scuba dive mode, then yes, the battery will drain faster, obviously, because you're using more features. Now, I went on a liveaboard trip to the Great Barrier Reef a couple of weeks ago, and that was interesting because we did 4 dives every day. So here's what I did. One of the days I charged the computer at around 7 p.m, something like that, before going to sleep. So I went to sleep with the computer fully charged. I set up an alarm, so I woke up using the computer, and then that day I did 4 dives, one in the morning, another one in the morning, another one after lunch, and then the night dive. And at the end of the day, I still had like 4 hours of dive time left in my computer. So potentially you can use it 2 days doing 4 dives per day, which is pretty cool. So it's probably a good idea to charge it every day, because it charges so quickly in like an hour. So yeah, battery is not a problem. It's great. It's pretty cool. What else? I read some comments saying that the wristband you could potentially lose it because it has a little things to attach the wristband to the computer. That has never been an issue, so that's great. Yeah, it's pretty cool. one of the reasons why it took me so long to do this second part is that I bought a wireless transmitter, which is great. Now I do recommend you, if you are going to buy this computer, you usually have two options. You can buy the computer, just the computer, which is what I did, or you can buy the computer plus the transmitter, all in the same package, which is cheaper. At the moment when I bought it, I didn't have regulators, and I thought I'm not gonna need a transmitter. But then I bought a regulator and I bought the transmitter. And if you do that, if you buy it later, it's more expensive. So I do recommend buying that in advance first. And let me tell you, I love it. It's great. You can just look at the watch and computer, and it tells you how much air you have. So you can change what you see. You can see just the pressure. So you can see 150 bar, 120. You can set alarms based on how much air you have. So usually, I don't know, if your turnaround point is around 120 bars, you can just set an alarm, and that way you don't miss that point. Although if you have it here in your wrist and you swim like that, you dive like that, you just have a look all the time. That's super handy. Now I don't use my SPG anymore. I still have it in my gear, but it's kind of hidden behind me, so it's just a backup in case the wireless transmitter fails. But it has never failed yet, so it's pretty cool. So I was telling you, you can see how much pressure you have. You can also see how much time you have, which is one of the cool features, because based on your breathing rate, I guess, it tells you how much time you have left of air in your tank, which is much more important, right? You don't need to know if you have 120 bars. You actually want to know how much time you can dive. That's cool. And I was a bit worried about the transmitter, because I read a couple of comments, people saying that if you walked like too far from the regulator, it will lose connectivity. And sometimes that will happen even during the dive, and you will have to pair the computer with the transmitter again. Now, there was a problem of the old version. Now there is a new version, and it works just great. I've never lost connectivity during a dive. Obviously, what I usually do is, like, I set up my tank with the regulators, everything. I pair the computer, I can see, okay, I have air, and then I go to put my wetsuit on, and I usually go to the toilet or somewhere. So yes, I walk quite far and I lose connection, which is expected. If I walk 100 meters, it's expected to lose connectivity. But then when I came back, as soon as I get back close to the pod, it pairs again, and I see the air again, which is great, pretty cool. Another thing is that air pressure also goes into your log, so you can see in your log what was the start pressure, what was the end pressure. You can see all the graph using the app, which is pretty cool. You can see your breathing rate also in the graph. It's pretty cool. I quite like it. I think that's my favorite feature, knowing how much air you have in your computer, which again is not specific to the Suunto D5. You can have that in pretty much any other computer. Any other decent computer has that option. And now that I mentioned that, the Suunto D5 requires the Suunto transmitter, and there are other computers. Not exactly sure the brands, but I think that Mares and the Shearwater and maybe Oceanic, they all use the same transmitter. Not sure about the brands, but I know that some brands use the same transmitter, which is cool for two reasons. One, the transmitter is cheaper. Two, if you buy another computer for a different brand later, you can still use the same transmitter, which is cool. But the Suunto D5 doesn't work with that, so it needs its own specific transmitter. What else can I tell you about the computer? Computer is just great. It does everything it can to keep you safe. So if you're starting to ascend too quickly, so it turns yellow and then it turns red and starts to beep, and that's like beep 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 beep, and it also vibrates, so it's kind of like if you're doing something wrong. One, it's not an issue, but something that you should know about. Here in Sydney, the water is kind of cold, so I dive with a 5mm wetsuit, and it's a long wetsuit, right? And it's kind of hard to feel the vibration because the wetsuit is thick, but yeah, you feel it. Like eventually you feel that something is vibrating on your wrist. And also I dive with a hood. My wetsuit has a hood, so again, same thing happens with the sound, with the alert. It's kind of hard to hear the sound. So usually, like, my buddy or someone else looks at me first when my computer is beeping, and then I know that it's beeping. So yeah, that's if you wear a thick wetsuit, but that's not specific to the Suunto. I guess that happens with any computer. So that's pretty cool. It's also great, like it's a good computer. Like people see it and they ask, oh, what is that, the new Suunto D5? Oh yeah, that's cool. It has a color display, which if that's your kind of thing, I don't like it, because then you have to say, yeah, it's a new computer, and some people think you are like pretentious, trying to show off the computer. I don't like that. But yeah, people will come and ask you, oh, is that the Suunto D5? Yeah. What else? It's a good computer. It tries to keep you safe. It does everything it can, which is quite good, but it costs $1,000. Now, given the price, it's hard to love it. I don't love the computer. My expectations were set at the $1,000 level, and yes, it's a good computer, but I don't think it should be $1,000. I think if this was $700, I would love it, yes, but now I don't love it. Like, I do love my fans, I do love my wetsuit, I do love my regulators, but I don't love the computer. It's good, yes, but don't love it, right? Why? Because it feels that it's not ready. And let me tell you what I mean. Little things, right? For example, you can set the size of your cylinder, the volume of the tank, and that will help you to calculate your air consumption rate. Now you can only set like round numbers, like 10 liters, 11 liters, 12 liters, things like that. Now here in Sydney, we pretty much dive always with a 10.5 liters cylinder. It's a steel cylinder. 10.5 liter is pretty much the standard here, and you can't choose 10.5. You can choose either 10 or 11, which is stupid, right? Like, it looks like Suunto didn't even know about the 10.5 tanks. Not only that, like, if you go to the standard aluminum 80 tank, that's usually around 11.1, 0.2, and you cannot set the specific number. You will have to choose 11, which is stupid, and it's full of software limitations like that. For instance, if you check the logs on the computer, it gives you a summary with, I don't know, like maximum depth, average depth, things like that. But then if you go to the software in the computer, that doesn't show you that information. So you have to go through different pages and different menus, and the information is shown to you in different ways. So it's kind of like, yeah, the software just doesn't feel like a computer that is $1,000 in 2019. It just doesn't feel like that. Now maybe my expectations are too high. Maybe I'm comparing this with smart watches, like, I don't know, an Apple Watch or something like that. But yeah, the software is not there yet. But yeah, it's a good computer. Like, if you get it, you will like it, as long as you don't expect it to be like super fancy in terms of the things you can do with the software. But yeah, it's good. It's a good computer. Like, I enjoy diving with it. It's a big display. Like, you can easily see the numbers. Something else that someone asked me: how much can you customize the computer? So you can essentially do two things. The computer has pages, which, imagine this is an iPhone, is like you can switch from your different like home screens. You can have many, and each home screen has a mode, and that mode controls what you see around the computer in the outer ring. So you can see things like your decompression time, no decompression time, sorry, around that, or you can see the air in your tank, that is like a gun, like SPG. You can also see the compass, so the outer ring becomes the compass. And that's pretty much it. That's what you can change in the pages. Now, that's the computer. On the top you will have your current depth, I think, or no, I think it's time. Then the main number will be the current depth. And then the lower part of the screen will tell you things that you can change within that view, within that screen. You can also change what you see there. You can see, like, I don't know, the current time, the current depth, the maximum depth, the heading if you're using the compass, pressure of your tank, many things like that. So you can customize two things. One is what you see in the outer ring, and the other one is what you see in the lower part of the computer. I will show you later. Another cool thing is that the computer changes accordingly to the situation. Let's say you're diving, you're, I don't know, seeing the pressure of a cylinder, and then you're ascending and you reach the safety stop limit. The screen will change, and it will show you have to do a safety stop, and it will show you the time remaining. It will start to count backwards from 3 minutes down to 0, and yeah, it will be yellow when you have to wait, and when you're a couple of seconds about to finish, it will turn green, and then it will say good, go, you can ascend, which is quite handy. Then also, if you're ascending, that's other thing that you see all the time. If you start to ascend, it will show you the arrows. So if you see one little green arrow, that's good. If you see 2 or 3 yellow, is perhaps you're going too fast. And then if you go really fast, you will see them all red, and it will start to beep, and it will tell you descend. So the screen will kind of change according to the current phase of the dive, which, yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if the other computers do that. The only other computer that I've used is the Suunto Zoop, I believe it's called Zoop. I don't know how you pronounce that, which is quite basic. Like, it's just an LCD display and tells you basic information. So this one is more rich in that sense. It tells you more things, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. I do like it. So it's $1,000 computer. I don't know. Some people say that the Terrik, that sheer water Terrik, is better, which probably is better, yeah, but then it's like 1,200, something like that. So do you want to pay that extra to get a bit more functionality? I don't know, that's up to you, something you should consider. I do like Suunto. It has a very good reputation everywhere, so yeah, I'm happy with the computer. I do not love it. Hopefully that will change in the future with software updates and things like that. So yeah, it's a good computer. So now I will show you some shots of the computer, just so you can see how it looks now after 2 months and like 50 dives that I've done.